It's Lamar Jackson discourse time in the offseason again. But Ryan Clark called out a double standard between Lamar and Joe Burrow.
You are Locked On Ravens, your daily Baltimore Ravens podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
You are Locked On Ravens. Welcome into the show. I'm your host, Kevin Oestreicher of Ravens Wire. On today's show, lots to dive into. We're going to talk about Colin Cowherd's comments and Lamar Jackson conversations that happened. Talking about that on the 6 p.m. show a little bit, but we have to get the opinion of the man we have with us here today on that. So we'll dive into that. We'll also talk about Roquan Smith getting respected by the NFL. But in the first part of the show, Ryan Clark called out a double standard about Lamar Jackson and Joe Burrow. And all I can say is finally we have someone talking about this. So we'll dive into all that here today with former Baltimore Ravens wide receiver and Super Bowl champion Qadry Ismail. And Q, you know, there are always those pockets of the offseason where nothing's going on and people say, all right, time to bring out all reliable, bring out the Lamar Jackson conversations, bring out the Lamar Jackson narratives. And with training camp a couple weeks away, feels like people are making that one last push to get their narratives out right now.
Yeah, I mean, for the life of me, can't fully wrap my brain around the why element of you think that Lamar isn't up to this level of these other guys. And when you say, okay, well, who are the other guys? And I've been consistently saying, outside of Patrick Mahomes, like, it's Lamar Jackson and nobody else. And for whatever the reason, people want to just put that Lamar hate, I guess, out there. And I guess they do it for clicks. That's the only thing I can think of, and not really fully respect what he is as a quarterback and what he's done from a career standpoint.
Yeah, again, I think there's a pretty big, at least I thought there was a pretty big consensus of, you know, the top four quarterbacks in some way, shape, or form, depending on how anybody wants to rank them, of in no order: Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, and Joe Burrow. I guess clearly that is not how people feel because we have multiple lists that do not follow that standard whatsoever. I thought it was pretty cut and dry, but I guess not. And we know the list Q that came out. ESPN surveys the NFL scouts and coaches and executives, and they do different positions. They release different positions every day. Lamar Jackson ranked number 5 on that list, and the list went Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Matthew Stafford, Joe Burrow, and then Lamar Jackson. And I cannot wrap my head around it because people want to use the injury and health excuse for Lamar Jackson, but do not want to use it for Joe Burrow. They use it as a negative against Lamar Jackson, but nobody cares when it's Joe Burrow, who missed 5 more games than Lamar Jackson did last season, by the way. And Ryan Clark was on First Take, and he called out that narrative and that double standard, essentially. So Ryan Clark said, quote, when you look at a guy like Joe Burrow, right, and where he's ranked, they don't take into account how much he's been injured or how little he's played, how awful his team has been as a whole. They look at Joe Burrow when he's on the field, what he has accomplished, and they rank him by that. They rank him by the feeling they get when Joe Burrow's healthy, when Jamar Chase is there, when T. Higgins is there. The same exact thing should go for Lamar Jackson. Outside of Patrick Mahomes, there is no more accomplished quarterback in the entire NFL individually. There's no quarterback who carries more than Lamar Jackson. There's no quarterback who is asked to do more than Lamar Jackson. There's no quarterback who you have to game plan for in the run game. You have to have a game plan for in the pass game. And you have to have a secondary game plan for when he does Lamar Jackson type stuff. And so when you take his career as a whole, if I'm a player, the way I'm voting in this, if this dude is healthy, how much do I fear him? If this dude is healthy, how difficult is it to game plan for him throughout the week? And we talked about some of the disrespect he has gotten. That's disrespect. I expected executives to not know where to place him. I expected marketers and brands not understand the power of his voice. What I didn't expect is dudes who have to line up in pads on Sundays and Thursdays and Wednesdays and Fridays and whatever the hell other days that we're going to see NFL games this year to not understand how scary it is to walk on the field when this dude is right. It ain't that much change in 1 year. We're coming off a year where it was basically one of the best quarterback years we've ever seen, where Josh Allen actually wins the MVP and he's the first team All-Pro quarterback. it's not just disrespectful, it's almost stupid that he is ranked so low. And I don't know if he cares about it at all, but this says a lot about this league and how quickly we forget what Lamar Jackson has accomplished. And I got to clap it up real quick for Ryan Clark on that one. But it's true. Like, people don't want to have the conversations about Joe Burrow because it's not convenient to their narrative, but you want to just pick and choose, where you want to, I guess, discredit Lamar Jackson. Joe Burrow has been more injured than Lamar over the course of his career, but Lamar is consistently labeled as like, oh, he's missed all these games 3 of the last 5 years, and he's missed the end of seasons, and, he's been banged up. I mean, and then they want to bring up the playoff conversation. I mean, where's Joe Burrow been in the playoffs over the last couple of years? He hasn't even been in there. Like, it's those conversations. And again, I think Joe's an amazing, awesome quarterback. I'm not trying to like discredit Joe in any way, shape, or form. I think he's amazing. But at the same time, I just don't understand why people want to use one standard for Lamar Jackson and then everybody else gets absolved of it. And I'm glad that Ryan Clark called it out.
I am too. And hallelujah for Ryan doing that, because there are times where some of his takes have been a little suspect and you're kind of like, well, what are you talking about? I think the big picture is this. It's easy, low-hanging fruit to talk about Lamar Jackson and say that he isn't that guy. And again, I didn't know Ryan's take off the jump, but I'm glad that I literally said, yeah, there's Lamar, there's Joe, not Joe, but Patrick Mahomes and nobody else. And I'm not saying nobody else as in it ain't even close. Like, I think for what he has done, what he has meant, sure, Josh Allen is an MVP, but, that one is tainted with an asterisk because it should have gone to Lamar Jackson. We all know that. When it comes to the ability to, elevate his game and the people around him, we've seen it time and time again. I think with the elephant in the room that you would speak against Lamar comes down to is that, yeah, playoff Super Bowl. That's the missing piece. That's the one that is, man, I just wish he would get it done. And now we don't have to worry about number 8, and we'll be looking at 1. That's where we're at in this juncture. But I think because Lamar is unique, doesn't have an agent doing the typical agent thing and putting out, different stories for him, or, he marches to the beat of his own drum. I think there's a lot of unnecessary hate there for Lamar Jackson and not an appreciation for just the dynamic, skillful player that he is.
Yeah, it continues to me to go back to, I feel like the year he had last year has empowered a lot of people to feel like they can say this stuff about him because he was banged up and, didn't have the typical Lamar Jackson year that we have all been accustomed to and used to, but they want to take out the context of why that was. Like, sure, Lamar had something, like Lamar just didn't play up to his best, but he also was injured. The offensive line was terrible. The year itself was weird. The coaching staff didn't put, like, there's all these different context factors, but people want to just strip those all down and only focus on Lamar Jackson and blame him for a lot of that. Ryan Clark also, another one of his answers, he said, quote, "It's almost inexplicable to believe that Lamar Jackson would fall this far in this sort of voting. Lamar Jackson is a 2-time MVP. Lamar Jackson is a 3-time first-team All-Pro quarterback. And Lamar Jackson has single-handedly carried the offense of the Baltimore Ravens in this entire organization that's taking over as quarterback for Joe Flacco in his rookie season." When you look at last year, especially the start of the season, Lamar Jackson was playing at a high level. You go to the Detroit Monday Night Football game where they lose and you have some inexplicable turnovers and some things happen in that game. Then we see the injuries happen towards the end of the season. But Lamar Jackson, the guy that has broken records, Lamar Jackson, the guy who was a first ballot Hall of Famer already, to me, it's disrespectful in a way as if we've forgotten who he is. And you think about the players and the peers who also are a part of this vote, and you ask them truly, who do you want to face the least? I believe that conversation does go to Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, and we're talking about the most important position on the field. But Roy Jones had a song a long time ago, and listened to it, was one with Body Head Records, and he said, "Y'all must have forgot." And I feel like people have forgotten who Lamar Jackson truly is. And so if he's motivated in the way that it seems this season, working with Declan Doyle now, the new offensive coordinator, I can't wait to see what he does, because clearly there's still a lot to prove for a man that's changed the way the game of football has been played from the quarterback position. And that's my thank you. Lamar Jackson has been like influential, almost like he's been one of the most influential players in the NFL in terms of how a certain position is played. Lamar Jackson has completely flipped, what it means to be an NFL quarterback. And I think it's been really cool to see that transformation. But yeah, I mean, him being ranked 69th on the list in terms of NFL top 100 players of 2026. And that is voted on by his peers and by, players in the NFL. I just think that this is a case of what have you done for me lately? Lamar didn't do what Lamar Jackson does last season, but that is not any reason to say, like, the Monstars didn't just come down and just sap all the talent out of Lamar Jackson and now he's done. Like, I feel like that's how people are operating. And it's crazy because, again, we're not seeing that conversation be had with other quarterbacks, and quarterbacks that Lamar Jackson is clearly better than. People are now putting them ahead of Lamar because I think they feel like they have a reason or an excuse to do it now.
Yeah, and that's where I'm saying, like, it's a head scratcher to me, because you are looking at it from the vantage point of, well, the guys that are on the field, they know how difficult it is to prepare when you go up against a Patrick Mahomes, when you prepare and go up against the likes of Lamar Jackson. Lamar could be in the pocket. All of a sudden, you think you got him dead to rights. He's slipping out. Now he's slinging it down the football field, and you're like, wait a second. I had him. How did he do that? We've seen it time and time again. Go back to the Jacksonville game. Go back to the Cincinnati game. Go back this past year to the Pittsburgh game. It's just highlight film after highlight film after incredibly impossible after incredibly impossible. The supporting cast that Patrick Mahomes has had around him, no question about it. High tide raises all ships. But give me Tyreek Hill in his prime with Lamar Jackson. Give me, I'd say Travis Kelce. We got to call it. Travis Kelce is more clutch than Mark Andrews. Now, both of them have great resumes during the regular season, but they're easily, okay. He just, there are levels to it. My point is that you saw where Patrick Mahomes had dudes that were elevating their game because of him, but they were exceptional players. I think that when you look at Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, he's had some great tight ends, some strong tight end play. He's had Stephon Diggs. He's had some number one receiving core type wideouts. I think that there's this delusion when it comes to Lamar, and I think again it started from the time he got into the league, and people just they misremember. Like, bro, what are we talking about here? This really shouldn't even be a conversation for Joe Burrow to even be in it. It's like, outside of the Super Bowl run, great, remarkable, awesome. He was talking about like wanting to shut it down and not being as into it and all that. And, that's not Lamar. Lamar has been delivering time and time again. Yes, last year was an off year because of injury. However, before that injury, as you so eloquently put it on social media, there was a heck of a lot of first in the rankings. And that, to me, just shows that he just picks up right where he leaves, and he just goes and does his thing. I think this year, Declan Doyle, Mio-USA, it's going to be a year for people to eat crow when it comes to Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, I mean, look, Lamar threw week 3 last year, number 1 in passing touchdowns, number 1 in touchdown percentage, number 1 in passer rating, number 1 in yards per attempt, number 1 in adjusted yards per attempt, number 1 in yards per completion, and tied first in interception percentage. I mean, look, the season isn't 3 games, obviously, but it gives you context to what Lamar was already doing when he was healthy, as opposed to, when he got banged up, said it's kind of started in the Detroit game, obviously left in that Kansas City game early, and then I guess kind of just spiraled from there for Lamar, unfortunately. But again, it's not like the Monstars came down and sapped the talent. We saw it last year when he was healthy. And I think we'll see it again this year as well. We'll go back to Lamar Jackson conversation in the third part of the show. Coming up, though, in the second part of the show, Roquan Smith got really respected by the NFL. People are very high on Roquan, and it's kind of cool to see. So stay tuned when coming up on the show. Today's episode is sponsored by Square. If you've ever tapped to pay and thought, whoa, that was fast, it was probably Square. Whether you're selling lattes, cutting hair, running a pet game day spot, or managing a design studio, Square helps you run your business without running yourself into the ground. Square is the platform behind the scenes of so many businesses you already love. One connected system to take payments, manage inventory, run payroll, and track it all in one place. And businesses using Square Online earn 36% more revenue on average. There's nothing worse than missing a big play because you're stuck waiting to pay. And trust me, I've been there. The spots to run on Square never have that problem. Quick checkout, easy receipts, sometimes even loyalty points. Love that. If you're starting a business or running one that deserves better tools, Square helps you sell, manage, and grow without slowing down. Right now, you can get up to $200 off Square hardware at square.com/go/LockedOnNFL. That's SQUARE.com/GO/LOCKEDONNFL. Run your business smarter with Square. Get started today. Locked On Ravens, Kevin Oestreicher, Qadry Ismail still here with you talking Ravens football on this Wednesday edition of the show. Thanks so much for being here and making Locked On Ravens a part of your day and your first listen each and every single day. We have you covered here at 5 days a week plus more daily Ravens coverage and content. Monday through Friday, twice a day, 6 a.m. and 6 p.m. Eastern time, plus bonus episodes, instant reactions, watch-alongs, the squad show, and so much more over here on Locked On Ravens. Q, just like the NFL had Lamar Jackson ranked at number 5. It's not just quarterbacks. Again, they're doing all positions. And the linebackers, the inside linebackers, were released on Tuesday. So I was kind of curious. I'm like, all right, where is Roquan going to fit in here? I expect them to obviously make the list. But he comes in at number 2 after what was overall an off year for him. I think most people would say outside of that Cleveland game, only Fred Warner in San Francisco was rated higher than him. Got a lot of respect. Now, he was rated number 1 as the highest, but like Lamar Jackson, the lowest ranking he did receive was actually unranked. Someone had him out of their top 10 list altogether. And some of the stuff that was said was, quote, still has the instincts, physicality, and playmaking that's a class ahead of the others outside of Fred. An NFL coordinator said, added an AFC offensive coach. He knows what's coming before the play and plays with reckless abandonment. And then someone said he's nasty coming downhill. An NFL personnel evaluator said he sees it fast, good blitzer, good eyes, cuts the ball off in the run game. So I'm going to read off the list and I want to get your reaction to it. It's Warner and Smith. And then Carson Schlesinger over in Cleveland, number 3. Zach Baun, number 4. Jack Campbell, number 5. Azeez Al-Shaair, number 6. Jordan Brooks, number 7. Nick Bolton, number 8. Edgerrin Cooper, number 9. And Devin Lloyd, number 10. Patrick Queen got an honorable mention on this list, by the way, just for those who want to keep track of that. What do you think of the list? What do you think of Roquan's placement and what people are saying about him? Seems like the NFL is very high on Roquan Smith still.
Say that top 5 again.
The top 5 of the actual list, it's Fred Warner, Roquan Smith, Carson Schlesinger, Zach Baun, and Jack Campbell are top 5.
I mean, that's an impressive list. That is an impressive list. As I'm just going over in my mind some of the games of the guys, I think Roquan might be living off of his resume from previous years, and that's okay. Knowing what I know now, what I've heard from people in the building, like, it was an interesting dynamic being a Baltimore Raven player last year with what went on with the coaching and the lack of. So, yeah, I think big picture wise, outside of that being his resume, kind of voting to put him at number 2, like, I'm looking forward to him redeeming himself this year. I'm looking forward to him reclaiming him as one of the upper tier elite guys, making the Pro Bowl, making all pro. They're going to need him. I mean, plain and simple. I think he sets the table incredibly well. I think once you start to see, the implementation of the defense and knowing that he's not going to worry about whether or not a guy knows his assignment, but he's going to be able to say what's what and then be that guy that can do his job, but then also follow up with the instinctual plays that made him on this list at number 2. Yeah, Anthony Weaver. Anthony Weaver's ability to bring out the best in you, and then I believe the way in which Jesse Minter is going to be calling plays, I think we might be seeing the best of Roquan yet.
Is that where, your confidence comes is from Jesse Minter and Anthony Weaver, or is it just that, Roquan was put in some weird positions last year? Like, do you think there's been any like drop off from him in terms of actual talent, or do you just think that he's needed someone over these last couple of years to put him and the rest of the defense in better positions, and that should kind of sort itself out?
So, yes and yes. He needed someone. He didn't have that someone. But then also he needed to recognize, like, he looked doughy. He didn't look the part of just this, stud sideline assassin. I think that's where he had to look at himself in the mirror and take accountability of the why he wasn't where he was at. So I think it was stacked, a couple of different things that were stacked, and because of those things, well, he just didn't play up to the level that we know what Roquan Smith is capable of playing. I mean, that's the thing. Like, standard is a standard. It's like saying, well, number one, he's a quarterback of the defense. So you get that dot on the helmet. You're calling the defense. You're telling guys where to go and why to go. When you look at the bigger picture, Roquan has to then make the adjustment like the quarterback is making the adjustment to, oh, wait a minute, Big Nickel is in the game. Okay, cool. They got Kyle Hamilton at the line of scrimmage. And so whatever that is. So from a formational standpoint, okay, we got 3 wide receivers to the open side of the field. I know based on film study, this is where they like to do that backside counter action. I got to be alert for it. But I'm also going to tip off so-and-so at the line, or, oh, you know what? Zion isn't in his right gap. Let me bump him over. Mike Green might come to the sideline and you're like, man, I thought I had such and such. Well, here's what you're going to be looking at. Those are things that Roquan does. Like, he gives guys, tons of information, but then his play itself, yeah, you got to stop the run, and you got to be able to cover tight ends and backs out of the backfield and the screen action, or, you know what, there's going to be an overload blitz. You're the one responsible for getting to the quarterback. It's all that. You got a big play on us because this is the NFL and life in the NFL is not perfect. Okay, great. We're in the red zone. Now all of a sudden I got turned into Roquan, who I studied it. Y'all like to do this play. I'm going to act like I'm coming. I'm going to drop out and I'm going to intercept it. It's all those things. That's what I'm saying when it comes to Roquan Smith.
Roquan's going to open up a lot of opportunities for the others around him, but I think the Ravens have the skill and positional talent, both ahead of him and behind him, to put Roquan in the best positions as well. And then through that, I think he'll absolutely feast for sure. Coming up, though, we're back to Lamar Jackson. We'll talk about Colin Cowherd's comments and his top 10 list, which was absolutely wild. Got to get Q's opinion on this. So stay tuned. Plenty coming up on the show. Locked On Ravens, Kevin Oestreicher, Qadry Ismail. We're still here with you on this Wednesday edition of the show. Q, this is the moment I've been waiting for. I've been waiting to tell you Colin Cowherd's top 10 quarterback list. You have not seen this, correct? I just want to.
I have not. This is fresh off the press.
Okay. All right. So talked about this on Locked On Ravens PM. Want to get your opinion on it as well, because Colin Cowherd, who for a while was one of Lamar's biggest supporters after apologizing for some earlier takes he had, is just completely gotten off, and he is not allowed back on after this, by the way. So he was giving out we'll start with the list itself and then talk about some of the comments. His top 10 quarterback list, Q, get a load of this. Josh Allen, number 1. Patrick Mahomes, number 2. Caleb Williams, number 3. Matthew Stafford, number 4. Justin Herbert, number 5. Joe Burrow, number 6. Sam Darnold, number 7. Jared Goff, number 8. Jordan Love, number 9. And Drake May, number 10. No Lamar Jackson on the list. Give me your initial reaction. No words.
Like Jordan Love, Caleb Williams, Justin Herbert. Those 3 alone. Not even in the same company. Sam Darnold shouldn't even. What are we talking about? Sam, like,
there's nothing.
So, like, what are we doing? What are we doing? What are we doing? When Sam Darnold is on a list that Lamar Jackson isn't even on. And it's supposed to be about top, not bottom tier, top tier. He won a Super Bowl based upon managing the game. And if the New England Patriots could have caught 2, maybe 3 of his interceptions that he threw right to them that they dropped, it'd be a different ballgame. I think this has to be Colin marketing himself at his finest hour. I'm just going to do something so outlandish. What has Justin Herbert done? We talk about Lamar, but Lamar got a resume behind him, stack. What is Justin done? And Caleb, mother of pearl. I appreciate his talent. But he is what, number 3 on the list?
Yep, number 3.
Wow. Like, I think he is dynamic. I think he's a charismatic player. I think he has an extremely high ceiling. But no, not even close to being Lamar Jackson's level.
Yeah, I agree.
Drake May had a strong year.
Yeah.
I would put him up on the list for sure. But Jordan Love? Nah. I honestly think Colin has lost his mind, and whoever his people are that he contacts to get the inside scoop on, hey guys, here's what we're gonna do, I just am curious. What if you tell us or tell me so I can tell my audience like some list that doesn't include Lamar Jackson on it? Oh yeah, one of the dudes like, oh yeah, Sam Darnold. Oh yeah, put him on the list. Like I get it when it comes to Matthew Stafford. No question. Dude had an incredible year and has quite the resume. But man, like I just think y'all just lost your mind.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, what I said on the PM show is there's no way he actually believes this. Like, there's
No way.
There's no shot that he actually believes this. I mean, to me, it's like he can try to frame it how he wants to and, put out all the stats and all this. I mean, you cannot tell me that genuinely Lamar's not even if you want to have him, like he had Burrow at 6, if you're saying, oh, Lamar number 5, like at least there's some level of, okay, the guy's ahead of him. I don't agree with it, but like you can say, oh, well, this guy has this and that. You can't tell me that Williams or Darnold or Love or May or Herbert. I mean, the Herbert thing, I do not get the infatuation with Herbert across the league. He gets a lot more grace than Lamar does for doing a lot less than Lamar has. So I don't get that. But get this, Q. what Colin Cowherd said, because he didn't put Lamar Jackson on a list and had a whole segment on Lamar Jackson. And just to summarize what he said on that list, sorry, not on the list, on the segment, was, quote, "I no longer trust Lamar Jackson in a big spot. I'm selling my stock. Caleb Williams to me now is a much better quarterback. I'd take Bo Nix today in a fourth quarter come from behind situation over Lamar Jackson." I mean, he talked about the sack percentage, leaving out the offensive line. He was comparing him to like Geno Smith and JJ McCarthy in terms of sack percentage, while not acknowledging his offensive line was atrocious last season. He even brought up he literally said, quote, "Caleb Williams and everybody in that arena knows he has to throw is great. Lamar Jackson and everybody in the stadium knows he's got to throw, does not deliver. That's who he is." I mean, it's old narratives that were never right in the first place. Like, this is crazy to me that it's gotten to this point of it just feels like insane disrespect. I mean, it's nasty to me.
It's beyond insane because Lamar has just been so incredibly clutch over his entirety of his career. And again, yeah, injury. Yeah, what have you done for me lately? Yeah, he has to get back. But last I checked, if you look at the Pittsburgh game, and homeboy was like, "Yeah, okay, I'm back. Let's go." I mean, some of them plays Justin Herbert ain't doing. Some of them plays you ain't even seeing. Caleb Williams has some plays, and rightly so. What he did against the Rams to, put his team back into the conversation was remarkable. So I'm not going to say that, he couldn't do it, but Lamar has far greater resume of showing that that's his norm. Lamar's norm is making the incredible, spectacular, Houdini-like play. But Sam Darnold ain't making those plays. Jordan Love, no, you're not making those plays, not ahead of Lamar. Jared Goff definitely not making those plays. Jared Goff has a great system that he has really mastered for himself. No, nope. I just think I'm glad you jumped off the Lamar train. So when it comes time to like sit back and be like, dang, this is Lamar Jackson. I wish I would have. You wish and you ain't, and it's too late.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. And look, Bo Nix was phenomenal in fourth quarter situations. He was, but I'm still not taking him over Lamar. I mean, we're acting like, and again, some of this stuff doesn't come into context because, Lamar Jackson, what did he do on that final drive against Pittsburgh? He led them in a situation, but guess what? He doesn't get credit for the fourth quarter comeback because the Ravens didn't win the game. And so, like, you have that other context that I feel like is just being ignored. Lamar, for years, we had to hear about how he wasn't a good come from behind quarterback, which again was just rooted in wildness. And then he showed it and everyone was like, oh, okay, I guess we got to take that out and find something. That's what it is, Q. It's like once he proves something wrong, people just go back to the drawing board and try to find something new. So if and when he wins the Super Bowl, I feel like people are still going to try to discredit him, but at least you can't really tell him anything at that point because he would have proven everybody wrong that didn't believe in him. So kind of a wild couple of days for Lamar Jackson disrespect and hate. But, I think that at the end of the day, he's going to prove a lot of people wrong on the football field this season. And I'm excited to see him do it. But Q, I appreciate you. Thanks so much for hopping on the show. Before I get you out of here, tell people where they can find you and what you're working on.
Yeah, man. Missile training. MissileTraining.com is where you can find me, locate me, and get an understanding of what human movement and sports performance training actually looks like. Missile training doesn't matter the age, doesn't matter the sport either. Individual training, group training. If you're a person looking for longevity, doesn't matter your age. We here at Missile Training have the formula that is right for you. MissileTraining.com, of course, WJZ. You'll see me there on all the shows. Of course, you have the squad show as well with Sam and Joku, as well as Kevin Oestreicher, as well as Qadry Ismail. Oh, that's me. We all sit there and chill, break it down. Training camp can't wait to go ahead and give you guys a strong understanding of what we are going to be expecting from the Ravens. I'll be out at training camp as much as possible. KO, he'll be scouring the internet, making sure all the other teams, when it comes down to it, if they're trying to do something that we don't know about, he's going to give it to us. We tag team it so well. Sam and Joku, he leads the way as well. But then each and every week, Locked On Ravens right here with Kevin Oestreicher and I. We like talking to you about Ravens stuff and content and all things Ravens. Give us a shout, give us a listen, check us out. We're here, checking it out, chilling with you.
Absolutely. And be sure you go follow Q, support Q everywhere he has his work. He does great work, like you just heard here on Locked On Ravens. But that's all I have for you today on Locked On Ravens. Thank you again, Q, and thank you to everybody who watched and listened to Locked On Ravens here today. On the web, be sure to like and subscribe button in video form and follow along. Subscribe in audio form for that 5 days a week, plus more daily Ravens coverage and content coming up back here for the 6 p.m. show at 6 p.m. And then we got the squad show at 7:30 coming your way as well. So be sure to stay tuned, and I'll see you right back here soon on Locked On Ravens.